Hello, welcome to this video. My name is Eva, and in this video I talk about mindset shifts that are so important and so helpful when you want to move to a different country. And for me, they help me so much because it can be a lot. Like moving to a different country, it's oftentimes a lot on the nervous system because you have oftentimes to learn to a new language, you have to meet new people, a new work, oftentimes new environment, so it can be a lot, and trying to figure all of that out can be a lot. So some mindset shifts that help me is the first one is acceptance of uncertainty. That was a huge one for me because for me, I'm just a person, I really like structure and I don't deal so well with uncertainty, but in this whole process I'm starting to find peace with it because, for example, if I'm in my home country and I lose my job, I just have like, or at least I feel like I have that family support in a way that I could always go back to them. But if I lose a job in a foreign country, it feels like everything is more uncertain. Like, will I find a new job? Will I have to go back to my home country? So it can be quite emotionally draining, especially if you have already established a life in a foreign country. And if you maybe move to a country where you have certain visa regulations and you don't know what you will do if your visa runs out, like it's a lot of different kind of mindset blocks that we can have, and it can feel quite draining. So for me, really that helped me so much to go back to the present moment and to be like, okay, what are the steps that I can take today to create more certainty in my life? So for example, look for jobs, or like if you lose your apartment from one day to the next, you can look for apartments. So always focus on the steps that you can take right in that moment. So that helped me so much. And also something huge that helped me and helps me is to say like, okay, I give myself like a couple of years, like 4 years. In 4 years will be struggle because it's just like struggling to learn a new language, struggling to find a job, struggling to build relationships and friendships, struggling to establish myself in a different country. So 4 years will be most probably quite hard, and I accept it and I just struggle my way through it. And that helped me so much because I mean, of course it depends. Like for example, if you plan a lot in advance, you can really have a much easier, and you also pay like people who can help you move to a different country. I think you can have a much better experience. Also, if you save up a lot more money, you can have a better experience. But for a lot of people, moving to a different country can be quite difficult in the first years, because yeah, it's just like a whole different culture a lot of times, and you try to integrate in a different country, in a different society, and you really oftentimes start from nothing. So that helped me a lot, just to accept that struggle is part of the journey, but also always keeping my dream in mind, to say like, okay, my dream is to one day have like a house for me in Spain, and build my own fruit trees, have my own fruit trees, and like have a dog and just have like a quiet life. That is kind of my dream. And supporting people kind of in their struggles when it comes to relationship or like nutrition, whatever it is, but kind of having that home base in Spain, that has always been my dream. And even if like, because for me there was also a time where I was like, oh my god, this is too hard. Like I suddenly lost the one apartment that I was living in, and then I was like, or like suddenly tried to move out of it, and it was just so much stress, and I was like, maybe I just give up. But then to remember your dream, for me that really helped me to keep going, to keep fighting. That helped me. And then what also helps me is to have patience with the process. Like for example, learning a new language. For me, learning Spanish, it's really something that doesn't happen from one day to the next. It's a process. Like I started learning Spanish in university, and then I mean, I have a boyfriend who's Spanish, so that helps. But still, like it's a journey, and in the beginning it's really like you only can do like the conversation parts, but then step by step your Spanish gets better. But it's still a journey, and I think to not have those high expectations of yourself, or even understanding how the legal system, the school system, the healthcare system works in a whole different country. Specifically, the legal system is just so many different components, and it just takes some time to learn all of those things. And I would highly recommend to learn those types of things already before you move in to a new country. But of course, it's just a process, like also adapting to a new country and building new relationships. It's just a process that does take time. So for me, that helped me a lot to kind of recognize that it is a journey, that it does take time, and to be kind to myself while trying to navigate all of those situations. And also that you make mistake, it's also natural, because if you move to a new different country, it's just most likely happening that sometimes you don't know something and then you just get punished for it or something. But it's just like trying your best, and that is enough, because you cannot do better than doing your best. But it's just, if you make mistakes or things like that, it's just part of the journey, really. Yeah, so that helped me. Also, what really helps me was to be open to new experiences, because sometimes especially if it's a culture that is quite different than your home culture, it can be a lot to dive into new cultures. But I would highly recommend to just give things a try, and then you can find out for yourself what works for you, and then you can really really learn and grow as a person also, and get a different perspective on a lot of things. Like for me, also being with a boyfriend who's from Spain, it's just a whole different perspective on life, on all different areas of life basically. And it really helps me so much to get out of my conditioning that I grew up in Germany. So also what really helps me is to focus on the positive aspects. I think that can get lost if you, for example, have struggles. Like for example, for me, I lost my apartment, and then I had to find a new apartment. And I moved to an apartment, it was not working out, and I tried to find a new apartment. Then I lost my job, then I was trying to find a new job, then I was trying, like I dated a guy, it didn't work out, and I was trying to focus on a new relationship. So a lot of struggles, like oh my god. But all of that, it really helps me to focus on the positive, and focus on why you want to move to a different country, focus on a dream that you have, that you're working towards to, and also focus on those small kind of things that bring joy into your life. Like for example, for me, dancing, and that really gives me energy back, and I can be like, okay, it's worth all the struggles in a way. So that can help a lot. Also, but also mindset shift that really helps me is kind of focus on small goals, because moving into a different country, it's a huge step, like, and it's a huge step of a lot of different smaller steps that contribute to this huge step, like learning a different language, finding a job, finding an apartment, or moving apartments. Then it's like managing all of this bureaucracy stuff, which depending on certain countries can be a lot. So it's really a lot of smaller steps. So always focus on the smaller steps, and be proud of yourself for taking the smaller steps, because it is a huge step to move to a different country and to live there and to integrate into their culture. It's really not something that you like. It's like if I, for example, move from one city in Munich to, like from Munich, for example, to Berlin, it's of course administration, a lot of things to do, but it's just in no comparison when you move from one country to another country. And I think if you move within the European Union, if you're, for example, from Germany and you move to Spain or to the Netherlands, it's still easier, I can imagine, than, for example, moving to the United States. Like, it's just a lot of bureaucracy. But be proud of yourself for all the small steps that you take. Also, what really helped me was to focus on my personal responsibility, because I feel like when I'm in Germany, I have like this whole support system, and of course like my family situation is also a little bit like weird, yet, but still I have that support. And I feel like here in Spain, I went there alone to Spain, and now I have my boyfriend, of course, but it's still like I feel like I don't have that deep roots of support system yet, and it's still something that I'm building. So it's really kind of a challenge, and to see it as a challenge and to see it as a way to grow. And I think that I grew so much because of the steps that I'm taking to moving to a different country. Like it teaches me a lot about resilience. It teaches me a lot about kind of finding that relationship with myself, being kind to myself, and being really self-sufficient and independent and autonomous also from my home family. So it's hard. I feel like for me it was really hard to move to a different country, but it was so worth it in so many different ways. And yeah, so what I can, if you want to move to a different country, I feel like it's worth it. Like if you have that inner desire and that inner dream and ambition, which I had, my whole life I wanted to move to a sunny place. If you have that desire, definitely go for it, because it's just like God gives you certain dreams, not for no reason. So I would highly recommend to kind of follow that intuition, follow that dream. And I think it will get hard for sure, no matter how much you prepare, because it's just a lot, like different language, different culture, all of that. But if you remember kind of your dream and why you do it, it can really help you so much to push through the discomfort and push through the hard times. And it will be, in my experience, my opinion, so worth it, because it really can help you a lot to grow emotionally as a person. So it's getting dark outside and I think it's time to end this video. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and see you so much in my next video, and see you soon, and so much love, and bye bye. See you.